Megaherzzz. You're listening to Megaherzzz on 4ZZZ.
You're tuned in to Megaherzzz 102.1 FM. I am Sisi. My pronouns are she, her, and I am very excited for our show today because we are actually having our first mic'd up show with our very new Megaherzzz, very newest Megaherzzz host. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Charlotte, my pronouns are she, they, and yeah, I'm the new presenter on Megaherzzz.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background, Charlotte? What have you been doing before you came to 4ZZZ?
Absolutely. So at the moment I work in community development in the neighbourhood centre space, so yeah, very familiar with community work and yeah, all that really cool stuff. My background before that was I worked in gender equity and violence prevention, so also very passionate about intersectional feminism and advocacy, also done a little bit of health promotion as well. In my spare time, I love to read, I love horror movies, I love tarot readings and vegan restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I hope you're excited as I am because you sound so perfect for this and we're so happy to have you on board and have all of that oh my goodness, the weekend's rubbed off on me. All of that wisdom and lived experience and knowledge, we're feeling very grateful to have you on.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
We have quite a stacked show today. Well, we don't have any guests, but we have a lot to talk about, which we will go into further in the show. But before we get on with the show, I would like to acknowledge here on Megaherzzz that we acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands in which we are broadcasting and the lands on which you are listening, the Turrbal and Yagara people and the people of whatever land you may be on. The Turrbal and Yagara people are the sovereign owners of this land in which we are on, always was, always will be Aboriginal land. We stand in solidarity here at Megaherzzz in the fight for justice. We've made a commitment on Megaherzzz to discuss the femicide happening in Australia every week, and unfortunately almost every week we have something to discuss. If you need to tune out and practice self-care, please do. This is horrible information and we hate having to talk about it, but it's not talked about enough. These women are not seen by mainstream media, and especially Indigenous women who's died this week, which is harrowing. So please tune out if you need to, but come back in a couple of minutes. Before I talk about what has happened this week, I would like to give a big content warning. The family of this woman has allowed her name to be said aloud, but if you are an Indigenous person, I'm about to say the name of an Indigenous woman who has died. So Jordana Johnson was killed this week. Jordana was a devoted mother with a big heart. Her children were her world. Jordana was killed alongside her son and one of her son's friends. Jordana, Jordan and Chaz are our Nutchum, our Wanu, our family, the family said, honouring their First Nations and Moody heritage. As you can see, we have representation from two families from different cultures that are now one through this tragedy. Family says we are supporting each other by connecting, reflecting and sharing the beautiful memories to honour them all. The Gladstone community will gather on Saturday, October 25, which has just passed, to pay tribute to Jordana, Jordan and Jazz. Rest in peace, Jordana. She deserves to still be here. Her and her son should still be having fun, should still be together, should still be alive. It's a shame that this country has had no media coverage of Jordana's death. And we need to keep talking about it. Sherele Moody is who we get all of our information here on the show. Please support her and the work that she does, because we wouldn't hear about these women without her. I'd also like to talk about the National Healing Circle that happened last weekend. It's such an important thing that women, non-binary folk come together, and even men who are allies come together and talk and heal in a space together. And so anybody who was able to attend that, please let us know. Text in, tell us about that experience, or don't. Just sit and reflect, and I hope that it brought healing to you all. But in your day, please think about Jordana and her family, and Jordan and Chaz, and have these conversations with people in your life, because it's important.
Amplifying the voices of the trans and gender non-conforming community of Meanjin, Brisbane and beyond.
Transmission on 4ZZZ brings you the latest in trans community news, music and events.
Every Tuesday from 9am till 10am.
Join our team of hosts for an hour of celebrating the unique perspectives of the trans community.
Transmission, Tuesday mornings from 9am till 10am on 4ZZZ.
Charlotte and I were just speaking. I got to have my wonderful festival weekend. You've got your wonderful festival weekend coming up. What are you going to do this weekend?
Yeah, thank you. I'm heading off to the Long Sunset. So it's a smaller local kind of festival hosted by the Queensland Music Trails over at Boona. I think last year it was at the Gold Coast. Just a really wonderful kind of like very accessible in terms of like money festival. And they've always got really good bands. So this year they've got Boy and Bear, Vera Blue, Greta Ray, The Boys and Jem Casa Daly are kind of their headliners. And then they've also got Play Lunch, TJ Acker, The Vernons, and Bunny Racket. So I'm really looking forward to, especially seeing The Boys, one of my favourite, very cool, I think they're from Sydney, all-female rock band.
So exciting.
Yes.
Yay! Are you camping?
Yes, we're camping, so we've got to do all our prep this week, you know?
It's such a mammoth
peanut butter and our sandwiches.
So good. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so exciting. It sounds like it's going to be a very chill vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely a very like family-friendly kind of festival.
Yeah.
Last year, lots of people brought their kids, and just because it was all kind of in a fenced-off area, so kids were just running around, kind of doing their own thing. And lots of different, they've got little local artists, they've got kind of little activities, food trucks, all that kind of stuff.
So great. And I'm pretty sure that's like a government initiative as well, getting Boona and small towns
I think
up
that's
on
what
the map.
Queensland Music Trails are all about, and I think why it's so cheap, and they do like local discounts and stuff for people who live in the area as well, which I think is really awesome. Fantastic.
Do you know if it's sold out yet?
Oh, let's have a look.
It's no problem. Well, why don't you, dear listener, go and check that out.
Go check it out at QueenslandMusicTrails.com.
Yes, there you go. I think they might even be a sponsor of us, and if they're not, they should be.
I'm just about to give a little update on the Queensland ban on puberty blockers. There were some updates this week, so I'm going to get into that one. So I wanted to share the latest news on there's a legal court case that started last week, but I just thought I'd give a little bit of context around the ban just in case, you haven't been keeping up with it or anything. So back in late January this year, the Director General for Queensland Health approved a health service directive that basically stopped public doctors from prescribing puberty blockers and hormone treatments to new patients under the age of 18 who are experiencing gender dysphoria. So this directive basically stops the prescription of stage 1 hormone therapies, which are puberty blockers, and stage 2 therapies, which are gender-affirming hormones. However, the ban only applies to transgender young people. Puberty blockers are still available for other medical conditions. So for the nearly 600 adolescents who were already receiving treatment, they were allowed to continue accessing these services. The plan was for this ban to stay in place until a study is completed at the end of the year, which is due by the end of November. However, last week, legal action started from a mother of a transgender teenager who basically has she's basically taken action saying that the directive was issued unlawfully. She says that her daughter was only a matter of weeks from starting puberty blockers before the ban. And a lot of this argument is based on there being not very much meaningful consultation before the directive was issued. So the court heard last week that the state government only held 22 minutes of internal consultation about the ban, and that consultation happened at the exact same time as the press conference announcing the decision. The Guardian Australia also reported that the minister had been sent a draft press release the day before the announcement. So similar past cases do suggest that proper consultation is a must before issuing a major health directive like this. And so the judge has indicated that we can expect a decision potentially by the end of this week. So we'll definitely keep you posted as to how that goes and whether that decision will have any effect on, the continuation of the ban. Whether or not the ban is found legally valid in this particular case, it has faced strong backlash from LGBT advocates and medical professionals. Many argue the move ignores the current evidence-based expert consensus and clinical guidelines used globally and across all the other Australian states. It's also worth noting that an independent review last year found that Queensland children with gender dysphoria were not being rushed or coerced into starting treatment. That same review did, however, flag that the state's gender services were struggling to keep up with their massive wait lists, and sometimes that was leading up to over 500 days of waiting. So I think this only indicates the importance of access to this life-saving treatment. That's basically where things are standing right now. When the judgment comes down, we can see if there's any updates on what this looks like.
Absolutely, we'll keep you posted. And it's so threatening to the young people who are going through that, because it's actually life. For some people, it's a matter of life or death, absolutely, to be on those hormone blockers, and it's a bloody shame that not more people are talking about this, and it should be discussed. And we have some wonderful shows on 4ZZZ who will be discussing this without a doubt. Transmissions, Queer Radio, but thank you for doing such wonderful research.
Join us for Hearts for Change, a community event raising funds to help end femicide through the Red Heart campaign by Sherele Moody, happening Sunday, November 23rd from 2 to 8 p.m. at Echo and Bounce and Season 3. Enjoy art workshops, short films, live local music and DJs, and a space to connect and create. Tickets are $20 from @come.together.bne and at keeping.brisbane.alive on Instagram. Proud sponsor of 4ZZZ.
You're tuned in to Megaherzzz 102.1 FM. That made us laugh at come. But we love Hearts for Change, and we're very excited for that to come up. We had a chat with the mayor a couple of weeks ago, so that's going to be such an important event, and we can't wait to see all of you there. Speaking of gigs that help promote change, we talked a little bit before about the Sisters Inside gig last night, but we thought that it would be important to plug the 5 to Free Her drive, which is super important. Do you want to talk about that?
So if you don't know, Sisters Inside are a really awesome organisation who support criminalised women and their children, basically addressing all their different needs. They work across all women's prisons in Queensland, and then also work with women and their children kind of post-bail. They have a lot of lived experience workers. They have a big focus on working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women, because as we know, they're quite overrepresented in our prison communities. This is just really important work that I think is super important, especially in the domestic and family violence space. We wanted to mention the 5 to Free Her campaign, which is basically just a really cool, quick way that you can contribute to the work that they do. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, Sisi?
Yeah, so 5 to Free Her, weekly payment, or you can pick monthly either. But if you think about $5 that you spend in your week, that's a coffee, a beer, half of a beer. And of course you can donate more every week or less frequently. But it's an incredibly important campaign, and I think that you're directly supporting your community by doing that, and more than just a one-off payment. That's money that goes towards actually tangibly helping people in your community. Another thing on this site that really stood out to me is that the adult crime, adult time is having a direct impact. So Queensland-based specifically, a direct impact on young women and young Indigenous women disproportionately. So I think that that's something that we can all be doing, and I think we should all be doing more than $5 a week, but I think that that's a fantastic place to start with your advocacy and looking after people and sharing it. If you've already done it, share it with your community over and over again, because this has been around for a little while now. I can see that they have 762 of a 2,000 donor target. And I think that a lot of us can probably afford $5 a week, and those of you who can't, it's free to share with your community. And I think that that also extends to advocating for Sherele Moody and the Red Hearts campaign. I think that there's some really powerful women-led organisations that are doing such important work for marginalised communities in our country. Anything else?
Yeah. No, but you know what? I do the $5 a week. I think it's, you don't even notice it half the time. And I just think it's so important to, give back and contribute in the little ways that you can throughout your week.
Absolutely. And we are coming to the very end of our show, and Charlotte's first show. Did you have a good time?
I had the best time. Thanks for having me.
Yay! Can't wait to have you more. Next week, we've got some new presenters as well. We're going to put everyone on the air and chuck them all in the deep end, but everyone seems incredibly capable and incredibly interesting, and we're feeling very lucky to have some fresh blood on the show. So thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
And can't wait to have you all on together. But we will keep you updated on the legislation that comes through, and we are finished our show. So have a great rest of your week.
Bye, everyone.
Isn't that what feminism is about?